Hello, hello friends. Good morning. My name is Sarita. I'm UGC NET qualified in November 2020, and I did MTech and MCA. Okay, if you are watching my lessons, thank you very much. Okay, if you like my sessions, please share with your friends, those who are preparing for the exam. Here I am guiding for the paper 1 and paper 2 also. Okay, everything is free. Please share with your friends. Okay, today I am here to discuss about the one of the most important topic of the software engineering, that is about UML diagrams. Almost all every important topics of software engineering I have already covered in my YouTube channel, in this channel. Okay, all that all videos are there in the playlist. Please go and watch and get benefit of that, because exam is coming near, right? The exam is in May. Don't waste your time. Please watch watch the classes and get benefit of that. Okay, now we will start our session about UML diagrams. What is UML? UML is an acronym that stands for Unified Modeling Language. Simply put, UML is a modern approach to modeling and documenting a software. Why we are using the UML? We are using to model and documenting a software. In fact, it is one of the most popular business process modeling techniques. It is based on diagrammatic representation. In UML, how we will represent? By using the diagrams, we will represent the documenting and modeling of a software. As the old proverb says, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Yes, if we show one picture, it will be remembered for more days than just saying something, right? By using visual representation, we are able to better understand possible flaws or errors in software. Okay, UML was created as a result of the chores revolving around software development and documentation. In the 1990s, there were several different ways to represent a document software systems. After that, in 1994 to 96, the UML was developed by three software engineers working at Rational Software. That is, it was later adopted as a standard in 1997. It has remained the standard ever since. It is what is developed in 1997, and it is just we are doing just a few updates. That is same as now. Okay, what is the use of UML? Why we are using UML? Mainly, UML has been used as a general purpose modeling language in the field of software engineering. However, it has now found its way into documentation of several business processes or workflows. Nowadays, it is using in a business processes and workflows also. For examples, what are the example? Activity diagrams. A type of UML diagram can be used as a replacement of flowcharts. We know the flowcharts, right? How the program is working, like that we will do flowcharts, right? That activity diagrams we are using nowadays. They provide both a more standardized way of modeling workflows as well as wider range of features to improve readability and efficacy. What are the different types of UML diagrams? There are several types of UML diagrams, and each one of them serves a different purpose regardless of whether it is being designed before the implementation or after. There are different types of UML diagrams to serve two different each purposes. Okay, the two most broad categories are behavioral UML diagram and structural UML diagram. Some UML diagrams try to analyze and depict the structure Okay, they will give the structure of the system. They are called as structural, and some diagrams will show the behavior of the system. Those are called as behavioral diagrams. The different types are broken down as follows. What are the behavioral and structural? These are activity diagram. It will show the behavior of the system. Use case diagram. Please remember this. What are the behavioral UML diagrams and what are the structural UML diagrams? In the exam, they will give this type of simple questions also in the UGC net. Okay, we have to understand the concept. Then, okay, structure means they will show only structure. Behavior means they will show how they are behaving, how the system is doing its actions. Okay, just activity diagram. First one is, then use case diagram. Next, interaction overview diagram, timing diagram, state machine diagram, communication diagram, sequence diagram. These are the different types of interaction diagrams actually. Timing diagram, state machine diagram, communication diagram, sequence diagram. These are types of interaction diagrams. Activity diagram and use case diagram. And the structural diagrams are class diagram, object diagram, component diagram, composite structure diagram, deployment diagram, package diagram, and profile diagram. The most frequently used ones in software development are, most we will use most of use case diagram, class diagrams, and sequence diagrams. Please try to remember these, which are behavioral and which are structural. We all know class, object, component, right? But behavior, whichever showing behavior, activity, use case, the types of interaction diagrams are comes under the behavioral UML diagrams. Okay, now we will see what is activity diagram. Activity diagrams are probably the most important UML diagrams for doing business process modeling. In software development, it is generally used to describe the flow of different activities and actions. Why we are using the activity diagrams? We are showing different activities, the flow of how different activities and actions are done. What is the flow? We are showing in activity diagram. These can be both sequential and in parallel. They describe the objects used. These activity diagrams describe what are the objects used and what consumed, what is produced by an activity, what activity is getting and what is producing, and the relationship between the different activities also it will show. First, it will show the what are the objects, what objects are getting and what the objects are producing, and what is the relationship between the different activities. Okay, this it will show the activity diagram. A process is not focused on what is being produced but rather on the set of activities. Just we are not we are not focusing on what is produced, but we focused on what are the set of activities that leads to the other and how they are interconnected with a clear beginning and ending. What is the beginning of the process and what is the ending? What is the how they are interconnected? We will observe in this activity diagram. The example above depicts here in the below. We have one example. This is also called as business process mapping or business process modeling. The activity diagrams also called as business process modeling. The main actors here, see, these are the actors. Author, this is the activity diagram. Activity diagram of, yeah, these main actors are author, editor and publisher. In the diagram you can see how the diamond shape is used. Here, see, this is the diamond shape. right? Here actually author writes the report and he posts the draft. Now editor, what the editor will do? He will do revise the draft. Okay, he will revise the draft. If there is no need of any revision, then he will post the draft. But if any, again, if any need of changes or any revision should be done by the author, the editor will send that uh, draft again to the author. This is the here it is showing the condition. Okay, these are the different actors and these are the activities, and this is the uh, flow of activities between the actors, right? How it is flowing, how initially author is writing and it is posting to the editor is revising the draft. If there is no need of any revision, he is posting, and he is again he is mm, posting to the publisher. Okay, this is showing what different activities and actions, right? How the interconnection also there between the actors and activities and actions. The author then revises the draft and publishes it down. If any needed change is required, the author will do the change, revise the draft, and again he will post the draft to the editor. This is about activity diagram. Then we will see what is use case diagram. A cornerstone part of the system is the functional requirements. Mainly the use case diagram will tell us about what are the functional requirements that the system fulfills. Use case diagrams are used to analyze the system's high level requirements. These requirements are expressed through different use cases. Okay, what are the functional requirements? We will represent using use cases. We notice three main components of this UML diagrams. What are the three main components? One is functional requirements represented as use cases. This is a verb. It is describing an action. Verb describing an action. That means that is a functional requirement. Then actors. They interact with the system. Who are interacting with the system are called actors. An actor cannot be always human being, right? An organization or internal or external application also we can say here actor. Whichever is interacting with the system is an actor. Next, the relationships. These three mainly will be there in the use case diagram. Next, the relationship between the actors and use cases represented using straight arrows. The example below depicts the use case diagram. You'll see this is a purchase stock. Actually, he is the owner of the owner and manager, inspector. These are the actors. This is the actual system, and these are the use cases, right? These are the actions. What are the actions? The functional requirements. We called it as a functional requirements. What are the functional requirements of the owner? Payment for stock, purchase stock, and manager. What are the functional requirements? The manager will do return stock and quality control of stock. No, inspector. This manager will return the stock and inspector will do the quality control of the stock, and he will inform the manager. Like that, the interactions also there between the functional requirements, right? Here he is a supplier. What supplier will do? He will provide the stock, he will payment for the stock, and he is a inventory clerk. He will distribute or sell the stock. These are the different what are there in the use case diagram. First actors, and you these are the functional requirements, and these are the relationship between the actors and the functional requirements. These are the relationships. Okay, next one is interaction overview diagram. These are the I told, right? What are the behavioral diagrams? Tell me. The behavioral diagrams are, first one activity diagram, we saw that. Next one is use case diagram, right? And next are interaction overview diagrams. In the interaction overview, one is timing diagram, next one is, these are also behavioral diagrams. These are also behavioral diagrams. In interaction diagrams, again this is subdivided. See, timing diagram, sequence diagram, communication diagram. Okay. Interaction overview UML diagrams are probably some of the most complex ones. So far we have explained what an activity diagram is. Additionally, within the set of behavioral diagrams, we have a subset made for 4 diagrams called as interaction diagrams. The what are the, yeah, this is also one of the interaction diagram. Interaction overview diagram, timing diagrams, sequence diagram and communication diagram. First one is interaction overview diagram, timing diagram, sequence diagram, communication diagram. So the interaction overview diagram is an activity diagram. It is also a type of activity diagram made of different interaction diagrams. Okay. Interaction overview diagram means it is also a type of activity diagram made of different interaction diagrams. Okay, here we are combining the activity and interactions, different interaction diagrams. Let's say it is a mixture of activity diagrams with interaction diagrams. Yes, the interaction overview diagram is a mix of activity diagrams with interaction diagrams. Okay. Remember this also. Maybe what is interaction overview diagram, friends? Interaction overview diagrams. It is a mix of activity diagrams with interaction diagrams. What is interaction diagram? It is showing the different interactions between the different activities and actors, objects. Okay. This is a interaction diagram. Assistant, inspector, reporting. Okay, these are the actors and this is a relationship between interactions between the different actors and what is the what they are doing, activities. These are the activities and these are the interaction between the actors. These are the actions, right? This is called as interaction overview diagram. I hope you understand this. Please try to okay, do again. Next one is, this is also part of interaction diagrams. Sequence diagram. Sequence diagrams are probably the most important UML diagrams. These are also most important UML diagrams among not only the computer science community but also design level models. These will be using for the design level models for business application development also. They are using sequence UML diagrams, business application development. Lately, they have become popular in depicting business processes because of their visually self-explanatory nature. In the sequence diagram, they are visually self-explanatory. By watching the sequence diagram only, we will get the idea of the complete system. As the name suggests, sequence diagrams describe the sequence of messages and interactions that happen between actors and objects. Here in the sequence diagram, remember what is happening? The describing sequence of messages and interactions that is happens between actors and the objects. Okay, this is a definition. Please remember this. The interaction between sequence of messages, which actor is sending message to which object, and which object is giving reply to that object, like that. This is mainly sequence of messages here. Remember this. And interactions, actors or objects can be active only when needed. If we see here, we'll see that that means whenever the this is a suppose this is a actor, that means whenever it is needed, then only it is active. After that it will be deactive. Whenever it is, now it is active. Whenever it is invoked by other object, other actor, or then only it will be active. After that it will be inactive. That it is saying here. Active only when needed, when another object wants to communicate with him. This object is this object wants to communicate with it, then only it will be active. After that it is deactive. All communication is represented in a chronological manner. To get a better idea, check the example of UML sequence diagram below. Okay, here I show the diagram here. These are the actors, right? What are the actors actually? Actors means we represent like this. This is a actor, right? A type of role played by entity that interacts with the subject. External to the subject represent role played by user, uh, either it may be human or external hardware or other subjects. Anything can come in the actor, right? These are the actors, and uh, this is a lifeline. This is called the lifeline. How to represent the lifeline? This is a lifeline. That means what is lifeline? Represent an individual participant in the interaction. This is an individual participant, right? How many individual participants are there here? 3, 4, 5. Remember this in sequence diagram. This is a individual participant in the system. Individual participant. This is the lifeline means represent an individual participant in the interaction. This is called as lifeline. Individual participant in the interaction. Next, what is activation? Activation. See, I will show the diagram. Whenever the object is active, right? I told whenever this object is other object want to communicate with this object, then only it is active. This is called as activation. Whenever another object or actor wants to communicate with this object, then that time it is active. This is called as activation. This is the representation of lifeline, activation. Next, call message. See here, there is a activation, right? The student course page is active here because the register is wants to communicate with the student course register. Here um, this is call message. This object is calling the other object. This is called as a call message. Here in this diagram, see, this is a call message, right? Whenever there is a arrow like this to other, this is a call message. This is a call message. And this is a replay, right? It is giving replay. This is called as what? Written message. This is a call message, and this is a written message. Like this, it is this object is giving reply to this object. This is replace message. Self message means sometimes this will the same object call itself. This is called as a self message. See here in this is a self message. I hope you understand this sequence diagram. These are the different actors that is called as lifeline. We will represent this actor with a lifeline, individual participant in the interaction. How many individual participants are there in this interaction? 5 are there. This is called as a life. What is this? Activations. This is called the active object. Up to here, this object is active. This object is active here, because when the objective is active, whenever another actor is want to communicate with the object, then only it will be active. After that it will be deactivated. Okay, that is a activation. Please remember this. In the previous year's questions we will see, uh, then you will get this is lifeline. You have to understand what is there in the sequence diagrams, how it is working. Okay. It is used in software development to represent the architecture of the system and how different components are interconnected, not how they behave or communicate, simply where they stand. See, sequence diagram is an interaction diagram that details how operations are carried out, what messages are sent and when. Mainly focusing on messages. This is a keyword, messages, and sequence diagrams are organized according to time. They are organized according to time also. The time progresses, you can go down the page. The objects involved in the operation are listed from left to right according to when they take part in the message. What is the purpose of sequence diagram? High level interaction between active objects in the system. These are the active objects, right? We are showing high level interaction between the active object in the system. Model the interaction between object instances with a collaboration that relies use of use case. Model the interaction between objects within a collaboration that is realizing an operation, right? That means it is doing operation here. Okay, I hope you understand about the sequence diagrams. Now the next is class diagram. The class UML diagram is the most common diagram. This is a structural diagram, friends. It will show the structure of the system, not the behavior. It's the most common diagram type for software documentation. Since most software being created nowadays is still based on the object-oriented programming paradigm, where the class concept will come. The class concept will come in OOPS, right? Using class diagrams to document the software turns out to be common sense solution. OOP is based on classes and the relation between the classes. Class diagram contains what the class diagrams will contain: classes and their attributes. What is attributes? The data, whatever the data we are using in the class, and their behaviors. What is the behavior? The member functions. What the function we are doing with that classes. More specifically, each class has 3 fields: class name, class attributes, and class operations, right? We all know as our class name, class attributes, and class behavior also. The class operations behaviors at the bottom. The relation between different classes makes up a class diagram. Yes, within the class we are having class name, class attributes, class behavior, and the relationship between the different classes, the is called, it will make a class diagram. See that this is a class diagram, friends. The example shows a basic class diagram. checkings account Checking accounts class and saving account class both inherited from the general class account. This checking account class and saving accounts class, these both classes are inheriting from the account class. What the inheritance will supply? Whatever the class members and member functions from the inherited class can be come into the child class. Okay, no need of again instant doing or implementing same. We can directly use the whatever the functions and members are there in the parent class based on the type of inheritance. There are different types of inheritance is also there. We have to see that also. Just inheritance means it is implementing the qualities of the parent class. The inheritance shown using blank related arrow. This is a arrow. The other class in the diagram is a client class. One more class is there, client class. It is clearly shows the different classes and how they are interrelated. Okay, this client owns account, and this account is inherited by two different accounts, checking accounts and saving accounts. Even for checking accounts also, type is there, owner, account number is there, everything is there, right? For checking and savings account, that's why we are inheriting the account to these two different types of accounts. This is the just what is class diagram. Class diagram means the relationship between the different classes. Next, what is this? This is object diagram. This is also a structural diagram, friends. Structural UML diagram. When we discuss structural UML diagrams, we have no choice but to delve deeper into computer science related concept. In software development, classes are considered abstract data types, right? Class, student, like this, a class is there. When this is a abstract data type. Whenever we create the object only, it will be an active entity, whereas objects are instances of the abstract class. Student S is equal to new student. Then this is a creation of the object of the class. This, by using this object, we can do the operations in the class student. This is the instances, whereas objects are instances of the abstract class. This is the instance of the class student. For example, if we have a class car, which is a generic abstract type, right? Just we created the car as a class. Then the instance of the class is car would be RD. We are creating a car object that is RD. The object UML diagrams help software developers check whether the generic abstract structure that they have created represents a viable structure when put into practice. Is it working good? Is it structure is okay? Then that we will get in knowing when creating the object. When the objects of a class are instantiated, some developers see it as a secondary level of accuracy checking. This is also just it will show the structure of the system. We will see this. Here see James client name. Here we are created objects of the class. Students checkings account and check students savings, and students checking checkings account and savings checking accounts. These are the different objects of the class. Okay. This is a client class. and these are also the classes, the objects of the classes. Checkings account and checkings savings checkings account class. This is a student saving accounts class. This is a client class. We are all instantiated the classes here. We are providing the values to the member functions of the class. Okay friends, these are all about the UML diagrams. These are very important. Some are there but we are not using them. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. You can comment in the comment box. Thank you friends. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.